Recording.
Good evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Town of Thompson Planning and Zoning Commission to order. It is Monday, October 23rd, 2023, 7 p.m. We are here in the Merrill Senate Community Room and online via Zoom. For citizens' comments or during any public hearings, we respectfully ask you to state your name and address for the record. Limit your speaking time to 3 minutes unless otherwise directed by the chair, and address the comments to the chair in a civil and respectful manner. And I'll ask you to stand if you are able for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll now begin with, continue with a roll call and seating of alternates.
Randy Blackmore.
Charlene Langlois.
David Pelosky, Brian Santos.
John B. Lane.
Ray Williams.
Alvin Hill, Joseph Curdy Brown, Ms. Orlovak.
Yes, Kaiser Levak is here.
We will seat Brian Santos for John Rice.
Mike Kruger said he was gonna be calling in.
Okay. Then we will seat Kais for Jane in case Mike does come in. Item 4, public hearing, application 23-50, applicant Eastwood Thompson 49 LLC, property owner of 0 Riverside Drive, map 61, block 88, lot 16, zone DMRD, 54.27 acres, request to the construction of a large-scale ground mount solar array. Zoning regulations, Article 14, 275.5. Ms. Dunn, I understand that the applicant is requesting a postponement.
We're requesting postponement of opening public hearing next month, yes.
I would move postponing the public hearing for application 23-50 to our November regular meeting on November 27th at 7 p.m.
You made the motion.
I did.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Linke. Any discussion? Hearing none, a yes vote will postpone, a no will continue. Other action, Mr. Hill.
Alvin Hill. Yeah.
Ray Williams, yes.
John B. Lane, yes.
Dave Poplowski, yes.
Charlene Langlois, yes.
Randy Blackmore, yes.
Ms. Orr?
Kaiser Levak, yes. Yes, sorry.
And Joseph Purdy Brown, yes. Item 5, discuss public hearing. There was none. Item 6, citizens' comments. And if you, Ms. Clark.
Valerie Clark, Alm Road, Thompson. I believe we ended the last meeting with me stating, and it was not reflected in your minutes, that we have been spinning the town's wheels with pursuing a citizen property owner, set of property owners who are merely using their property to recreate. And I think we're wasting time and money on it. I'm disappointed to see it back on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Any other comments from on Zoom or from here with us?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Beausoleil?
how are we doing?
Well, you?
Okay, Kay Bosley, 21 Walker Drive. I believe on your agenda tonight, you have the request coming back from the Board of Selectmen that I made for the clarification of the property to be purchased up on the airline trail.
We are, yes, that will come up, yes.
Okay, well, my agenda doesn't show that. The copy that I have is did not come up clean. The comment that I do have was, while it was great that you did approve the property in, allegedly in question, there was no description of the property, so that way the Board of Selectmen knows exactly what the P&Z did approve, so that way we can take it to town meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Beausoleil.
Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments at this time?
Mr. Chair, do we have to make, like a motion on it?
Yeah, that's gonna come up in the planner's report. That's gonna come in the planner was gonna talk about that.
Okay.
in the report.
I got you covered.
We will move forward with that. Thank you, Mr.
Just checking,
I appreciate it.
trying to keep you honest.
Someone's got it. Seeing no other comments at this time, either online or in the Merrill Snee room. Continue. Item 7, approved minutes of the regular meeting of September 25th, 2023.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make the, a request, or if you want that under, okay, where did I put it? I'm just in front of me. On, under commissioner comments, on the, my comments that I made that night about the interchanges and everything was not put in there. And I think that it should, you know, even though we have to paraphrase it, I get it. But I wanted it on record because that's something we need to be looking at even further down the road. Especially Buckley Hill Road.
So in the first paragraph under commissioner's comments,
That's correct. It could have been any one of the paragraphs, could have just, but there was nothing was ever mentioned about it. Which I was also rudely interrupted on it at the same time, so. Just to let you know.
would Mr. Williams?
And I would like something added to the minutes. I don't know if you want to make the motion first and then go to that, or
Yeah, certainly. So I'll move.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do that, but.
Would you like to?
Yes, I would like that, make that as a motion for that, and then if Mr. Williams wants to jump in and do.
Okay, so Mr. Lenke moves the approval of the minutes with an amendment to commissioner's comments as described. Is there a second to that motion?
Where is he? Commissioner comment.
He would like an omission. Corrected.
In other words, we left something out?
Yes, yeah, he would like to mention, reflect his comments about the changes. The interchanges, so sorry. Is there a second to the motion to approve the amendment?
I'd like to amend the regular.
So if we begin the process, then we can,
Okay, I make a motion.
do you second it, please?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Would you like to add your own amendment?
Yes, I do. Under my amendment, I'd like to have it added that the sports arena does not fit the criteria, because I said that. And
Would this be in commissioner's comments as well, or?
no, that's in the minutes.
So in item 12B,
Yes,
so in that last paragraph there.
yep, and I would also like to put in there that that subject was closed at a subcommittee meeting, and it shouldn't have came back up. I said that both that night. I said a lot of other stuff too, but I'd be happy to get them two things. I want them two things in a minute.
Mr. Lincoln, will you amend your motion to include Mr. Williams' amendment?
Yes.
And you second as amended, Mr. Williams?
Yes, I do.
So the motion on the floor is to approve with 2 amendments. The addition of Mr. Lenke's comments and citizens' comments, and the extension of Mr. Williams' comments in item 12B, report on arena violation. Any further discussion on the motion to approve as amended? Hearing none, a yes will approve as amended, a no will propose another action. Mr. Blackman.
I abstain, I wasn't here.
Charlene Langlois, yes.
Dave Popowski, yes.
Mike Santos abstain.
Mr. Lincoln.
John Beely, I'm sorry, John Beely, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes.
Ms. Orr
Kai Zorlovak, yes.
and Joseph Purdy Brown, yes. The minutes are approved as amended. Item 8, applications received.
None.
There were none. Item 9, report of officers and staff. We got a budget this time.
We have the budget. And, I don't know if there's any questions on it, or, you know, Tira's gonna talk a little bit later on about, we'll talk about
Online code.
online code. Yep,
So with the same Commissioner Popolski, is that $50 was enough for us to get up to this point, right?
mhm.
See, that's why you didn't spend it. No,
Thank you, Mr. Poplawski. Ms. Penn.
And picking up where Mr. Poplawski left off. So last month, I told you we got the estimate for the supplement for the annual update for this year, and it was $4,000 and change, $4,300. At that time, the assumption was that those costs would be split between the commission and the selectmen's budget or the general budget. I spoke to Amy afterwards, and she agreed definitely for this year, they will take that out of the software budget. That's already been approved, that there's room for it in that, and that it is her intention that that be the case going forward. That's the first thing about that, so yay. Now, I will say that the costs were based on volume. It was not a flat fee. So we did have a lot of changes to ordinances and a lot of changes into the code. So even though it's not going to fall in the planning and zoning budget directly, I would still say just, you know, keep that in mind. We still want to limit this to once a year, unless it's absolutely necessary to do some mid-year update, and just to be judicious because quantity matters.
So, Mr. Chair, so going forward, if elected as secretary again next year, I don't have to worry about budgeting for that specifically, because ongoing it'll be out of the software budget.
As of this moment, that appears to be the case.
Okay.
Have it in the back of your mind anyway.
Okay.
Anything could change. You know, who knows what other kinds of things
Sure.
will come up during budget season. It may still be prudent to increase, for example, your professional services line in case of some other thing. But as of this moment, the intention is it gets covered in the software budget.
And my intention would be to keep it in so that at least it's earmarked, so that it's talked about during the budget session, so,
Sure.
thank you.
And then what's not on here, but was alluded to in Ken's comment, the Board of Selectmen did take the 824 approval of that acquisition of the piece of the Butler's property at their meeting on the 17th. But as Ken indicated, the select board kicked it back because they found that the record in the minutes was not good enough. So I'm going to suggest that you guys vote to amend your agenda to include approval of language to approve the acquisition of a parcel of land in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes 8-24 at the address of 343 Sand Dam Road, map block lot 135-12. A portion of that parcel containing 28,880 square feet of area, shown as Parcel A on a plan entitled Property Survey prepared for the town of Thompson, East Thompson Road, Thompson, Connecticut by J&D Civil Engineers LLC, dated June 9th, 2023. So I'll suggest that you can probably just do that on a voice vote since you are unanimous, except for Mr. Williams' abstention because he's part of the Rod and Gun Club. And the only person to whom that language really matters in this room is Kevin, because in the record, you'll want to include that language exactly. And then I think that will serve the purposes of the selectmen.
I'm gonna read it out specifically, or is that good enough? In the motion?
I don't think I can repeat it word for word. I'm going to rely on Kevin there. So I would just say
Okay,
the specific language related to the acquisition as read earlier.
So, okay, yeah, so I'm going to move to amend the agenda to include item 12D under old business, item 12D, approval of language as read by the town planner. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Langlois, yes, 12D, yes. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, a yes will amend the agenda. A no will not amend the agenda. This is just for the agenda.
That's it. Let's talk about it.
Hearing no discussion, Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
John B. Lincoln, yes.
I said those, yes.
Dick Buskey, yes.
Charlene Langlois, yes.
Randy Blackmore, yes. Ms. Orlovak?
Kaiser Levak, yes.
And Joseph Purdy Brown, yes. Agenda is amended. Anything else, Ms. Pat?
Not for me.
Ms. Dunn?
I think everything that I have to say is in my memo, and I just want one other thing added to new business, and that's an issue on 374 Riverside Drive. So we need a motion to add that.
I will move to amend the agenda to add item 13E under new business 374 Riverside Drive. Is that correct, Cindy?
372.
I'm sorry, 372 Riverside Drive. Second. Motion made by the chair, seconded by Mr. Santos to amend the agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, a yes will amend the agenda, a no will keep as published. Mr. Blackmore. Randy Blackmore, yes.
Charlene Langlois, yes.
Dick Buskey, yes.
Santos, yes.
Mr.
John
Lincoln.
B. Lincoln, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Albert Hill, yes. Ms. Orlovak.
Kaiser Levak, yes.
Mr. Purdy Brown, yes. The agenda is amended, although it isn't amended. That's great. Thank you, Ms. Dunn. Item 10, correspondence. We received notices from the town of Douglas and the town of Webster. Any questions about that correspondence? Hearing none. Item 11, signing of Mylars. There are none. Item 12, old business. There is a land use training this Saturday, October 28th from 9. That's cool. So it's October 28th to the 2023 power. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
It's gonna be a long meeting.
You can register online and it's an online event as well, which counts for our required hours. Anything to add about that? And there's a NECOG land use training, item 12B, Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. Is that online or in person?
That's in person.
We have information about it in
That's
the back.
about Putnam Town Hall.
And to register, reach out to Jim or Delia at NECOG. Item 12C, report on sports arena violation. Before I turn it over to Ms. Dunn, I do want to receive a correspondence from an attorney Mead earlier today in regard to this topic, and I would like to have that added to the file. If there's no objection. Okay, hearing none, we will add that to the file. Thank you. Ms. Dunn.
Okay, well, I sent you the report, and I lined, and I sent you Attorney Roberts' legal opinion. And what I sent to him and what he sent back. Went through the regulations, searching the regulations. You added there, the commission added, addition to other remedies, may institute legal action, prevent, correct, or evade any condition of fines that violates the regulations. Up to and including removal, requiring removal of any structure to be built legally. That's just one of the comments in the our regulations. So my decision is there is no zoning regulation that will legally back up a cease and desist violation for the personal recreation use on the property at 11 Hagstrom Road. Additional support for this decision was the action of the Planning and Zoning Commission Subcommittee Recreation Uses meeting on April 26, 2023. when the following motion was made, discussed, and approved by a majority vote. B. Santos starts with a motion to terminate the meeting, the general consensus of the prior comments, that there is no need for additional regulations for private recreational uses. The action, this is my comment, the action in this meeting indicates to me the commission was finished with further pursuit of the recreational activity 11 Hagstrom Road. So that is my decision on the main issue. There were other issues addressed and damage to property from stray paintballs. I told one of the offended homeowners that had called me, I advised him to call the state police. And I advise anybody else who feels that any of the stray paintballs that go over the netting, call police. Damaged roadways, if there's any damaged roadways, report that to the town of Thompson Highway Director. There was a question of the apron on the third driveway. There was actually 3 driveways when that house was purchased by the current homeowner, and 2 driveways, and third driveway now being used as an entrance to homeowners' parking area. That entrance was previously used as an animal path into the wooded properties. I discussed the driveway issue with the DPW director. He stated that since Fabian Road was recently paved, the town put a sufficient apron on that driveway. I took a ride up the Fabian Road and noticed that any driveway that did not have a paved driveway from the road into the property driveway, the town installed approximately 12 inches of paved apron. Access point for the parking, the third entrance mentioned is number 3 in the access for parking.
Cindy, may I interrupt you just for 1 minute for Kevin's sake? Kevin, would you note that Mike Krogel came into the meeting at 7:21 online? Thank you.
And I confirmed again, I saw Joe last Thursday. I saw him today. I confirmed that that apron they put on was sufficient for the highway department for an entrance into a driveway.
And for the record, that is not me. She was not discussing that with me.
Joe Tasic, not Joe Perotti, Joe Tasic.
I'm sorry, the PW director. Sorry about that. I was looking right at you, Joe. Okay. 7-foot fencing screening. Fencing is part of the building code that's posed with screening is not, therefore does not require a building permit. For zoning regulation, fencing over 7 feet requires a zoning permit. Poor quality of fencing is not in the zoning office jurisdiction. Collapsed fence, to my knowledge, fence collapsed once, the highway department is notified, and I personally notified the homeowner to take care of the problem. I will conclude this, if anyone is aggrieved, neighbor, property owner, and or planning and zoning commission, by my decision, you can appeal to the town of Thompson zoning board of appeals under state statute chapter 120, I think it's supposed to be 124. Section 8-6. Does anybody have any questions? Anything you want to ask me in my hours of research and communication with Attorney Roberts?
For whatever it's worth, Mr. Chairman, I have discussed this with Cindy in the office and I concur with her conclusions.
I would just say, Cindy, thank you. I know you just alluded to it. I know that this has taken much of your focus and attention and time over the past months, and I appreciate the thoroughness for this report, the clarity into how you reached your decision, and sort of the executive summary at the end of, you know, well, this is not the body to address these issues. If you have concerns, these are the people to address them to. That would be my comment on the report. That's okay. Thank you. Item 12D is the approval of language that was read earlier into the minutes by our town planner. And so at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve that language.
I'll make a motion that we approve the language as detailed by the town planner.
Mr. Blackmer beat you to it quietly. But motion was made by Mr. Poplawski, seconded by Mr. Blackmer to approve the language as read into the record by Ms. Penn. Mr. Link,
Is there any detailing of the property map and everything? That's gonna be with the language. So we
It
know
was all on what you read, wasn't it?
a detailed map of the.
We
property itself.
do have it, and I did send it up to the select board before their last meeting. That can be included as a part of the record. I have the specific the survey language. If you really want me to read it out, I can, if you want that to all be a part of the record. Okay,
As long as
but we
have-
do have it, very precise.
have, like a map, a detailed map, fit the language where it's going, you know, here it is, towards this, towards that.
Yep.
That's what we need,
We got it.
otherwise we'll be questioned later.
thank you, Mr. Linky. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, a yes will approve the language as read earlier, a no will not approve the language. Mr. Hill.
Yeah.
Ray Williams, yes.
John B. Lincoln, yes.
Frank St. Louis, yes.
Dave Plowski, yes.
Charlene Langlois, yes.
Randy Blackmore, yes.
Ms. Orlovak,
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
Mr. Krogel,
He's on mute.
Oh, no, he's got it.
Yes, Mike Kogel, yes.
and Joseph Brody Brown, yes. Item 13. A,
When he Brooks is supposed to come,
okay, well,
and he wanted to, and I
Okay.
can speak for him if you would like me
okay,
to.
he's down in D. So he still has a couple more agenda items if he's not here.
Yeah,
Item 13A, the 2024 meeting calendar. Has been presented to us. There was a suggestion made by the CEO to look at the December 23rd meeting, which is not technically a holiday, but may be inconvenient. We do have the benefit of a fifth Monday in the
Or-
month, it sounds like.
Go up early one.
Yeah, did we run into problems when we go early, though? Is there something on the third Monday?
no, because we've
I
done
don't think
We've
so.
done it about,
Okay, then we can do the 16th as well.
I make a motion that we take December 23rd and move it to December 16th.
Okay.
I'd second that.
Second, motion made by Mr. Lenke to set a meeting on December 16th instead of December 23rd, seconded by Mr. Williams. Any other discussion on the proposed meeting dates? I just had, what was the significance of the asterisks in February, October, and November? Does anyone know? Kevin?
You see?
Over 28th.
Oh, I know what it is. Kevin doesn't have to answer that. So because this is the first year he did that, I gave him a sample of the ZBA and the ZBA had to change their.
Because of holidays.
Yeah, because
Okay.
of holidays,
Perfect.
and he can take the asterisks out, so we'll tell him to take the asterisks.
Sorry. And then I would just also make sure that it says that this is approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission at its October 23rd, 2023 meeting. It's at the bottom of the page.
Oh,
Other than that, if there is no further discussion, move to accept the meeting schedule as amended. 1 to 1. From the 23rd to the 16th. 16th. Alvin Hilliard.
Ray Williams, yes.
John B. Lincoln, yes.
Frank St. Louis, yes.
Dave Plowski, yes.
Charlene Langlois, yes.
Randy Blackmore, yes.
Ms. Orlovak,
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
Mr. Krogel,
Mike Kogel, yes.
and Joseph Brody Brown, yes. Item 13B, review of bylaws.
it's just a suggestion. I know that you did a thorough review last year. It's just a suggestion if anybody wants to look at your copy and bring something up next month.
Because we vote on them again, we vote on them
Yeah,
each year,
right.
so. Thank you for that reminder. It's done, that's important. Item C, 65 Main Street Small Business Center Public Food Forest Planning Project Meeting Discussion.
So first of all, thank you for those of you who did show up that evening. Mr. Brody, I believe might have been the only person. Kais, were you there? No, you weren't there that night. So that was the kickoff of, oh yes, you were there for a short time. That's right. You had to leave. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to forget you, B. So that was the kickoff of a year-long series of workshops to help plan the future operations and site design and all kinds of stuff for that facility. The next one of those is going to be on the 9th of November. That is an open invitation to any of you, anybody in the audience, really any resident or person with an interest in Thompson. But I do need to have RSVPs for this one. It's going to be 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday, the 9th of November. And it's going to be essentially a guided discussion and gameplay. Some of you have done these sessions with us before. People respond super well to them. And the more people, the merrier. So if you are interested and you haven't yet responded to the emails I've been sending out, or if you're hearing about this for the first time and you'd like to take part, just drop me a line, planner@thompsonct.org. I'm asking for all my RSVPs by Friday, the 3rd of November, because I will be back from vacation the following Monday, and I will it's done with teams. So I'm going to put the teams together when I come back that Monday. If anybody has any questions about that project, I would be happy to answer them as best I can. Ray, you look like you have questions.
No, I got something coming up. That I wanted, I do have a question about something, but not about that.
Okay, fair enough.
It took me a little while to find it. I was gonna talk to you about it after those.
Would you like to share your observations, Mr. Perotti Brown or Mr. Santos?
Yeah, no, I thought it was, I was gonna say, I thought it was a very informative evening. The gentleman from Illinois who does the help me out with the correct
Permaculture.
the permacultures, I thought was very interesting. I'm excited about the partnerships with local and national organizations. The local organizations clearly understand what we're trying to do here and what is important to Thompson. I was impressed with the evening, even though you called me out just for standing. Mr. Sanders, I don't know if you have anything to add.
I'll just do the wall that second minute, but I think just in general, the 65 main project is very important to the town. I think it shows a perception that we're willing to spend the time to renovate a building that has such history and longevity to the community. I think it has a lot of nice features to it, and I think it sends a good message to our youth that have walked by that abandoned building for about 10 years plus now. That we are committed to this community and to see it be developed. I think it sends a really positive message to our youngsters that walk by that building for many, many years.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of you have had a chance to go by there.
I did. I love it.
It looks so much better already.
It does.
It's been gutted down to the studs inside. All the hazmats are being hauled out soon, and they're just about done with the abatement on the lead paint outside. So fantastic.
Hopefully the group will go on in the next couple, 3 weeks. And for those that are interested, I'll be jacking up the floors on Monday. I mean, on Friday, if you want to come down, give me a hand.
Well, I don't know if you want that, but I'm gonna come by to observe.
Yeah. I'll come down and give you advice from the doorway.
Thank you very much, Ms. Penn. Item 13D, zoning review. 1, Rodney Brooks preliminary discussion of amendment to zoning regulation, Article 14, Section 275, 14.2, subsection 3.
So Rodney, lives at Little Pond and he owns quite a few little lots out there, and he was wondering how long a person could park a trailer on those lots. And I said they were, regulation amended it from April to December. while we were doing that planning and reviewing it, we had Northeast Department of Health here. And I distinctly remember asking the representative if their method of disposing of gray water and sewer was, acceptable to them. Do they trust that the trailer, and I think probably all of you remember I asked that. And they said, yes, they did. And you made the regulation from April to December. And he was questioning why it was so long. And he was supposed to come and discuss it tonight and give the suggestion that it should be April to October. And I explained to him that we do a zoning review. I said, you have two choices. You can file a zoning amendment, which, you know, a citizen has a right to do, or you can wait until we review it yearly. So that's, I guess he's not here. He was undecided today whether he was going to come or not. And so that's something that we can put on the list for our zoning review. The second, any questions on that?
I do. Go ahead. You
No,
said- you
ladies
went,
first.
you went.
No, really, good.
I guess my thing is like if I was not sitting on this board, I know that rules change and that's obviously, but it gets confusing when one year it's December, one, you know, and then the new board comes in and now you can park there for 3 years and then the new board goes out and a new board comes in and now you can park there for 3 days. And so I think that we had always said, or I don't even think any of those, Mr. Word, Mr. Rice, is that consistency works best for the community. Like figure out something, it is what it is, and try to present that to the community why we have it that way, so that somebody comes, I could come in and say, oh, well, when I was there, you could stay in there till December. I didn't know I only had 3 days and I could get off on that, you know, I could last on that. So I think that's changing everything is like, you want Thompson to be stable and solid, but rules change around here like underpants, so.
Well, I think when you
Put that in there.
when you finalize it, we did finalize with the understanding that working with them between Chair and myself and working with the building office, that some things might not work, and we have found that some things don't work. So, and again, he asked me, that's his
So,
options. And
Yeah, what's not what's the problem? What's
what
not
he was
working for
asking
him?
about
Yeah,
was too long.
for him to stay in a camper or
For
anybody,
anybody staying in
so-
the camper, because it's a vacation area, and he didn't understand why it was from April to December. Truthfully, neither did I, but that's okay. I'm staff. I'm not.
I will point out that at the time that you guys reviewed this was a topic
Yeah.
that took a
Yeah.
lot of discussion and you intentionally made that period longer.
His option was April to October. He thought that was reasonable.
But we had talked numerous, like
Yeah.
I remember on the
Yes,
phone
yes.
and a meeting. We did it again, we tabled it, came back.
Yep.
Because then we were concerned about the people who had wanted to stay in their camper because it is a big purchase, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that if they could stay there for the winter and they have, or not the winter, but till that December, I mean, people go out, they have fires, they, you know, do all kinds of stuff. And I don't think that we or somebody should be saying, oh, close it up. We think you're done in April because that's what I want. So I think, I remember going back and forth, so
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
luck.
Mr. Lincoln?
On that, I remember the conversation, there are some places that go from March to December, or, you know, so to give those people time to come in
Mhm.
early, get set up, because you can't set up in 1 day or 2 days, it can, you know, couple, 3 days by the time you do this, and then December, it should be up to them when they decide to pull out. If they want to pull out in November, that's their business. If they want to stay till December, sit there with the snow around them and have a bonfire, that's on them, as long as they're out. I, like she said, let's stick with what's been working and let's leave it alone.
Yeah, Mr. Williams?
I don't believe that they should be told they have to pull a camper off their property in December. If they own the lots, they should maybe not inhabit it.
Oh, no, they
No.
don't have to. No.
Oh,
No, no,
okay.
they just can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, but when was first brought up, it sounded like.
Yeah.
that they
Yeah,
were-
yeah.
So I would say I would say it's,
Wait,
Mr. Pulaski.
This person wants us to reduce it.
Right.
Okay. That's what I wasn't clear of, that somebody's actually asking us to reduce the time. That made
yeah, not,
a lot. Okay, that didn't make any sense.
So I would
wasn't-
suggest we include it in, as Cindy said, included in our, our discussion when we do our annual review. I will state now, and I will state again later if I have the opportunity, that unless there is a compelling reason for us to change, unless there have been, right, as you said, right, we re-examine every year to see where the issues have been, the things that aren't not working.
And to be very honest, I have not had one single complaint about the trailer thing on the lake district.
I'm just curious, why doesn't he just move out of his?
I don't know.
You've got a house.
He has a lot of lots out
he has
there.
a lot of time.
Rents out, you rent section.
No.
You let people stay there?
No, I'm talking about.
No, he just has a
Oh,
lot.
So then
Okay.
I will move on, please,
No,
to,
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
oh, yes, Mr. Krogel.
actually, I think we should increase it from January to December. It's nobody's purpose to tell us what to do with our property.
And I remember,
If somebody wishes to take the chance of freezing their equipment, that's on them, because whether or not they're living there, if they don't winterize the thing, the onus is gonna be on them.
Yeah.
And by living in their thing, at least it'll have heat. But again, it's not the board's position, or shouldn't be the board's position, to tell somebody where they can and cannot live, at what time frame they can and cannot. That's just my thought. I guess we'll discuss it next month.
Right.
thank you, Mr. Krogel.
Mr. Chair, to elaborate on what Mr. Cruz said about, trailers and everything, a lot of them are what they call, they're winterized, they're made to be winterized, you can stay in there and everything, but the thing is now you have to have somebody come in if they don't have access to some septic or whatever, to get rid of this, so they have to have it cleaned out. Now they have a system that you can rent where it takes care of everything and it's still above ground and it doesn't freeze. Again, it comes down to people's rights. So if they want to stay there all winter, then let them come in and get a special permit, as far as I'm concerned. But I think April to December should stay.
I would say we'll look at it. If there's a compelling reason that this commission wants to change it, we can talk about it, but
Yep.
I think we should do that when we have our review. Item 13D2 is discussion of kennel, commercial and non-commercial.
So I got a call the other day, and then the, animal control officer also came into the office to talk about it. We have a gentleman, I don't know the addresses on my center pad, he wants to, have litters, 5 litters a year, and just to let you know that the Senate did change the bill, and their bill, the Senate bill's 1069, they changed it from 2 litters to 5 litters. That a homeowner can have. So he wanted to have the kennel, non-commercial kennel at his home. And I want to start this with saying, I always appreciate when people call and say, can I do this? Because it shows that they're sincere and they want to follow the rules. Of course, neither Sharon nor I have an answer for.
Well, it took us a little while to get the answer,
Yeah,
that's all.
right. So our regulations define kennel commercial, define kennel non-commercial, and the only districts that you can have either one is the Thompson Corridor Development District and the Business Development District. So we thought that your intention, from what we remember, and you guys might remember better than us, that you did not want any commercials in any other districts. You did not want, any kennels in any other districts, whether they're non-commercial, which is like a hobby for a person to raise 5 litters a year. And we thought that was your intention when you did the zoning regulations. So we're sort of asking you, if you remember.
What is our intention?
Yeah, and again, just to elaborate, this was another topic that I seem to recall had quite a bit of conversation surrounding it. And that is why we landed with both commercial and non-commercial kennels being treated the exact same way. My suggestion, when this comes up later at that annual review, is that those two types of kennels can be separated from one another in the table of uses, that perhaps commercial kennels, which is the boarding, which
Hmm.
seems to be the one that generated the most, like,
Issues.
not in my backyard kind of issues,
Mhm.
maybe could stay in those two districts, but that the non-commercial kennels are more akin to like a home awk or some other similar thing. And that would be probably compatible in the more residential districts. And that would be my suggestion where we start and then see if, you know, the consensus has changed on that.
So I don't know what to tell this gentleman, Wednesday when I get back into work.
Tell him to tell his dog, don't do anything until we find out what's. Tell him to tell the dog, don't do anything
Tell the dog.
if they could just wait until we figure this out.
There, the animal control officer there has to be, I have the state statutes, I don't know, actually I have the whole thing right here, it's all 30 pages. Only needed what was underlined, but printed out all 30 pages for future reference. They can be irritating to neighbors, a litter, so I think it's a very touchy subject, and I think it's a lot of work for the animal control officer to deal with non-commercial kennels.
Yes,
Mr. Lincoln.
so in other words, if it's because of the dog making noise,
Right.
then we all know that.
Right.
So in other words, how would we consider that, say, like, does it have to be 100 feet? You know what I mean? What's the noise decimal where this, because if the guy's next door and he's only 50 feet away and he's hearing dogs barking all night, especially puppies and everything, that gets to be annoying, you know what I mean? So that's something we would have to consider and look in, where can we say to them, well,
Yeah.
you have to be a little considerate.
So
And the reality is there are people who are doing,
right.
they just haven't contacted them. Or nobody's.
And that, I mean, that was gonna be one of my points, if I may, Mr. Williams. Right, one of. If people are doing things in such a way that people don't know about them, right, then isn't that intrusive of a use, and should we then reconsider?
And you'd have to talk to the animal control officer on that one, because she's the one who would get the complaints.
Mr. Williams.
There's people raise labs, Brittany Spaniels and stuff like that, they'll breed their dog 2 times a year. And, and sell the puppies. I wouldn't consider that a commercial breeder.
Well, they're
No,
not,
it's a
they're not. It's
non-
considered a
non-
non-commercial kennel. It's a little
Yeah.
confusing the way it's phrased.
And you see the definition. of,
Somebody's doing 5 litters a year, that's 7 litters a year, that's commercial.
Yeah, so Ms. Dunn, thank you for bringing,
No,
thank you for bringing these both. I think these are both fruitful conversations to have at our annual review.
So, but one of the other issues is the town clerk is supposed to be giving the license for it.
Right.
But she's saying, go to zoning and see what they say, and that's how this started, because she sent them over to zoning. And,
So at this,
and at that time, the Erica's her name, or
I don't remember.
Well,
Oh, the animal, Aaron.
Aaron.
so at this time, if it's not permitted where their property is, then
Okay.
it's not permitted. But I mean, let them know that we are looking into it, and it's gonna be a
All right.
thoughtful conversation for us.
Okay.
Thank you. That's fine.
Awesome.
And then item 13E, it was 372 Riverside Drive.
Oh, yeah, I thought I said, okay, I said enough tonight. Okay. So I didn't, I realized when I was going home today that, I forgot about 372, and so I just printed all the stuff on the computer at home as my process. So here's 372, I don't know, I'm gonna pass a picture around, you go down Route 12, make the turn to go into Putnam by 395, And it's on, as you're going, and it's on the right hand
Right.
side, it's the place that I know it as years ago, and aging myself, Dr. Danner's office,
Mhm.
because my kids went there. So there's a gentleman there that rents it. Stop looking at me like that. There's a gentleman there that rents it, and he sort of sells things and repairs things, so we have to retail business. It's retail property. If you remember going down that road across the street, there is that, two-car garage, and there's a trailer there.
Yeah.
And the owner of that trailer is trying to get rid, the owner of that property is trying to get rid of the trailer. She worked with United to get them to pull it out of there. Then he found out, and he said, oh, well, I want the trailer. Because he wants to have a food truck on his property. He wants to keep it on his property. And I said, well, a trailer is not a food truck. So I was looking at the definition of,
Food truck.
so there's nothing in the regulations for that district, for Tom Corridor Development District. There's nothing in that says that you can have a food truck or a food trailer. For business, it's not, and your table of uses, but here's the definition. Food and beverage service establishment. Any facility where food and or beverages are sold and served to the public as a principal or accessory use. Examples of food and beverage service establishments include, but are not limited to, restaurants, banquet halls, event facilities, diners, cafes, coffee houses, bars, and tap rooms. Breweries, microbreweries, and craft distilleries are not included in this definition, as they are subject to separate provisions under these regulations. Food trucks are not included in this definition, but are considered a temporary use under the jurisdiction of the fire marshal. So I asked him, is this going to be a temporary use? And he said, no, it's going to be a permanent use, that he was a chef and he wants to promote his recipes and his food. It's he's got a building there, the building's not suitable to make it into a food place, but he could do the trailer. This definite, my answer is no, and he didn't like that, and so I said, well, I'm gonna ask you guys what you think about it.
So for what it's worth, my suggestion, because this guy did get in touch with me before he talked to Cindy, was that another possibility, this might be an appropriate application of the neighborhood limited enterprise, which
No.
doesn't define the type of
No,
businesses.
because it's a retail, because it is a commercial property, so neighborhood limited retail would.
Yep,
would
That's right,
become
that's right, because
business.
it's not a residence, that's right, you
That's
and I
right,
talked
yeah.
about that afterwards.
Talk about
I keep
Um,
thinking that that's his house.
I mean, it sounds to me like a restaurant.
Yeah.
In a unique
Setting.
setting. Right, like. You know, is Dairy Brothers a restaurant? I mean, I know that's a structure, but it's like the same sort of thing, right? They're not gonna be eating in the trailer, I assume. The trailer's just gonna be for preparing the food,
Hmm.
right?
Along those lines, I think it should just be the health department, whether or not it's sanitary or not, and whether or not it's fire hazard for the community.
Fire marshal
just-
and the
And that's it.
Okay,
So
so
the
I'm gonna
meeting-
pass my phone around, and this is where he wants to put it on the property.
Mr. Williams.
Is this gonna open up a can of worms? The next time somebody wants to put a trailer in the town of Thompson, you let this one here go over here, but you can't, you know, cause. Once you open up a can of worms like that, that's
We don't permit trailers in buildings.
correct, that's what I'm saying.
Well, there you go.
And it's,
He's
Mr.
using,
Chair, it's a residential trailer. It's a residence that's being moved to another site and being repurposed
As
It is.
commercial.
as commercial.
If there was already a trailer, whoops, sorry,
That's gonna.
sorry about that.
That's okay. There was already a trailer.
If there was already a trailer there and they pulled it out and they put another trailer in that place.
Yeah.
they could do
That,
that.
that's different. You
Right.
replace it, that's acceptable.
Yeah, okay, then I rescind my original response, the trailer.
But nobody's
Can't
gonna,
find the picture, I'm
You know,
sorry.
he He's not.
He's gonna
It's just that-
clear this and hand it out the window to you, right? No seating of any
This is where
sort.
they want to put the
But
trailer.
he's gotta do.
It's on the side of that little building.
Reconstruction of the trailer to do that. In other words, he's gotta put all the equipment inside, cut out of
That's
the
across the
build
street.
I-
They want to move it from one
like
side
a
to the
food
other.
truck, yeah, so you flip up the thing and everything.
said, food truck,
But a permanent food truck.
Right, permanent.
Yeah.
The
So,
trailers are not,
and like
No way the hell.
like Ray just said, it'd be opening a can of worms.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like these guys with the hot dog stands there and they got the little trailer toy. That's a little trailer, but it's made especially for that.
okay,
This is not.
I have evolved, I stand by your original decision.
No, I think she said right now, you know, I'll back her.
That's what I'm
Sandy,
saying.
is this on the river side of the road or on the,
On the riverside.
It's where Dr. Datner's office. is.
Okay.
You remember Dr. Datner.
yeah,
Back in the day.
Yes, back in the day, guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ms.
any,
Langlow.
He needs to.
we support Ms. Dunn in her
Yeah.
conclusion that that is not an acceptable use. Items, yes,
take a vote on, or just
it
general consensus?
seems like it was general consensus, but we can take a vote if people
Well,
want to.
consensus is fine with me,
Well,
but
there's no application,
I
so
got
I don't
something,
really vote on it.
I don't know if I can put it on the agenda, but there's, something that's put into the regulations that we did not vote on. That's in this, it says new business right on it.
Yeah, okay,
Where are we?
let's bring that up in commissioner comments.
Okay.
That's right. Item 14, review of ZBA minutes. Any questions or comments on those?
Trapped in here.
Item 15, citizens' comments.
Valerie has her hand up.
Ms. Clark.
Valerie Clark, haven't moved in the last hour. And I just want to thank the CEO for bringing the issues that have belabored this town to a conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clark.
Roman Jameson, 56 Taylor Road. Well, I came to hear about the solar,
Oh,
and sort of to say I like the idea of solar. I don't know what the particular situation is, and I'm not gonna find out. Maybe I can make it next week. So I just wanted to say that the more solar and the less fossil fuels we can have in town, happier I will be.
Thank you, Mr. Schumer.
That's my comment, in case I'm not here next week,
Thank you.
Next month.
Next month, yeah.
next month.
Mhm. Yeah, November
The
20.
good times way up.
Sir,
Quick question. Art Helmus, HELMUS, from that government, I believe that the solar has been extended.
it got postponed till November.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Seeing no one else, commissioners' comments, Mr. Williams.
We talked about box trailers, and on here it says that no box trailers are allowed in the districts. We did not vote on that. There's farmers that use the box trailers to store stuff. They use it to store tractors, hay. Sometimes they use them to store animals. The Lake District, there's people in the Lake District that I know of that they keep their boats. It's no different than a garage. A box trailer, and people keep their boats in there. They keep all their, their patio furniture, their tubes, and I remember we talked about this, and quite a few of us talked about especially for the agriculture, because it's a lot easier to get a box trailer than it is to build something, and then it can be moved. It's not permanent. It can be moved to different parts of the property. And I remember we talked on this, and I don't remember at all, but that we never had a vote on that. So I don't think that should be in our regulations.
Ray, I think that predates when you came on the commission, so it's,
We talked about this before, so we talked about this in our rewrites. This was brought up in our rewrites.
I'll check the record, but I believe that that is consistent with the way we left it, but I will definitely check for you.
Because we had extensive talk on that, and I remember, you know, talking about, you know, especially for the agriculture.
We'll look into that and make sure it's on the agenda for next month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Anything else from the commissioners?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Krogel?
I'm confused about this food trailer / camper, whatever they want to call it. Is
Okay,
it on wheels?
no,
No.
So
No.
it's just gonna be sitting on the site?
yes,
Because again, I guess I'm just different, but I don't think we have anyone the right to tell anyone what they can and cannot have on their property. And I do not, and have not ever understood why we forbid trailers in Thompson. People tell me it's because of taxes. Well, if that's what people can afford, then that's what people have. And if that is the only reason that we do not have trailers in town, I think it's pretty sad. But as for the consensus of us not having it, I would have to go the other way on that.
thank you, Mr. Krogel.
Hang on a minute, Mr. Chair. The trailer that's in question is it's a fifth wheeler. It's on wheels.
My apologies, Mr. Krogel, I spoke.
Okay, so if it's on wheels, that means all you have to do is, then it's a camper.
Bingo.
Yeah, it's not a mobile,
It's a travel trailer. It's a fifth wheeler. In other words, he needs a pickup truck with fifth wheel kit.
Okay, but that just makes it a registered vehicle.
It's so he can pick it up, move it in, as long as it's on wheels, hook up to it, revamp it, because he can change it if it's got the slide on and everything, he can make that into whatever he wants, you know, for the thing and everything. But here it is, that's
totally different than
That's
what it
totally
was
different.
explained.
I
Because
just,
it is commercial property down there, correct?
What's that again, sir?
That is commercial property.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I'm gonna, Mr. Santos and then Ms. Langlois.
So it's a change of use. Construction, if it's a recreational vehicle, that's its use. If you change it to a restaurant, it's a change of use. So that's the building department, fire department, the health department. They make that determination.
I agree with that.
So is your suggestion be that if he
You have-
decides to pursue it, to convert it to a restaurant?
You would have to get all the proper permits.
No, because it's
The change of use.
our dimensions is our technically uses our structure.
Oh, I thought it was the other trailer. Thought it was the house trailer.
Yeah, I thought it was a house trailer too. That's why I said what I said, but
That's what they came
Right,
in here
so-
for, was to use the house trailer to sell knickknacks or something.
So-
originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about too.
yeah, I thought it was the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Ms. Langlois.
I think I agree with Brian. Let the health department decide, because I'm sure they would feel like that's not appropriate, like. The-
But it's still, but you're still opening the Pandora's box for the rest of the people.
So Ms. Dunn's point is right, that this isn't a structure, this isn't.
Right,
They would need to.
They
file a
wouldn't-
building permit.
right,
would
and they
have to
wouldn't
make
get-
the Modification, it's just like a construction project.
It's a food wagon.
Things, sauce fans, all these other things that would make it.
You're gonna have to gut it all out.
And if he's coming in, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
If he's coming in there for a weekend, or if he needs a permit to bring it in for the weekend. He just, he needs a food.
no, he wants it to stay there,
Fire marshal, if it's temporary food truck, that's fire.
fire marshal.
You don't have any.
Mr.
Right,
Williams
so
and
not a
Mr.
permit
Bass.
from us, but a permit from
really?
someone, which is the fire marshal.
The really one that would be taking care of that is Board of Health would be the one that would do the inspection on that. I know the fire marshal would have to do it, but the Board of Health would be the one, because it's gonna be food served to the public.
But it's still a structure on a piece of property that is not permitted. You do not permit trailers, which even if it's a fifth wheel, is still a trailer.
That's
right.
I don't know about that, because that's a different type of trailer. That's
It's
not
a mobile vehicle.
No, it's not a house trailer. A fifth wheeler is actually almost like having a house on wheels. I can attest to that.
So are you saying that I cannot have my lawnmower trailers in my yard?
But he wants to do the inside of it to cut it out, and that's gonna involve a lot of work, changing except maybe the kitchen area, you already got the stove or whatever.
But that's his problem. If he gets the approval, that's his problem.
But
That's not
I agree with Brian, leave it with the Board of Health, leave it with the fire marshal. and whatever, and then you get the last word in the discussion.
Well, no, I feel like I should get the first word.
Yeah.
So that
I
it doesn't
agree.
have to go through the trouble.
Well,
of
whatever,
everybody
first,
out.
first the last.
So my first word is gonna be no, because it's a trailer, regardless of its fifth wheel. Is a trailer, and trailers are not allowed.
Well, no, because then people who have fifth wheel trailers, theirs is allowed on the property as a trailer, but he's gonna be using, his intention isn't to pull it off his property and go camping. His intention is to pull it onto his property, leave it there and shut down the camping months. Because he won't be able to use it, cook in the winter.
He's not even gonna be able to get it registered, because nobody knows who owns it.
Mr. Sanford.
Wow.
Just wanted to explain what we about.
I can say
Any
that.
logical person gonna say, I'm not going through that process. Thank you very much.
Any other?
Thank you.
Just the economics of this, I can't imagine that, we're gonna have to worry about that very long. You'd be closing up and moving it somewhere else.
No, it's all year round.
You want to.
Yeah, but
He's saying he's not
One
gonna
second.
succeed. It's not gonna be a very fruitful business model.
that was where I was going.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any other citizens' comments at this time?
Commissioner's
Commissioner's
comments.
comments.
That's exactly what I meant. Thank you.
I do. I just want to say thank you very much for letting me be on this team or whatever for 6 years. It was great working together. It was fun. We got some things accomplished and hopefully you guys will carry the torch and get this town moving.
You were on a little run.
Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna be here. I'll be getting things. Oh, yeah, because I was on as an alternate. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you,
That-
Ms. Langworth.
part of it.
Yeah.
You stole my thunder. I was gonna close up with thanking you for your service. You said a little bit earlier in this meeting that consistency is the key for Thompson. And you have been a model of that. You've
Thank
been a consistent in your public service to the town of Thompson. So on behalf of the commission, I thank you for your service.
Thanks.
With that, our next meeting is November 27th, 2023 at 7 PM, where we will discuss solar and other things. Item 18, I will accept a motion.
I make the motion.
Well, motion made by Mr. Blackmer, seconded by Ms. Langlois. It's her final act as a commissioner. The meeting is adjourned at 8:07 PM. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
We were voting